Communication to Enter 29 and all units heading towards Canal and Bourbon. We're going to move to Fireground 2. You're responding to a mass casualty incident. A vehicle ran through a crowd of people. There's multiple injuries, multiple casualties. They need you at Canal and Bourbon.
10 people are dead and at least 30 others are injured after a vehicle drove into a crowd in the French Quarter. Emergency officials say it happened overnight near Canal and Bourbon Street. You can see the scene right there. A lot of police activity overnight. We've been seeing ambulances, you see on your screen right there. Truly a frightening scene, as you can imagine, a number of New Year's revelers out and about on this New Year's Day, early morning, and then waking up to this news. The latest that we have from the New Orleans Ready, their emergency alert system, is that their 8th district, they're working on a mass casualty event. That is how they have described it so far. And again, we got that news just a matter of moments ago that at least 10 people have been killed and dozens more were injured. We're also learning some more information from eyewitnesses who have described some of the scenes, frankly, and some of the horror and panic after a vehicle slammed into the crowd. That's the word from some of the eyewitnesses. Kevin Garcia, 22 years old, spoke to CNN shortly after this incident. He said, "All I seen was a truck slamming into everyone on the left side of Bourbon sidewalk. A body came flying at me," he said, adding that he also heard gunshots being fired. That's again from Kevin Garcia speaking with CNN just a little while ago. Another witness from Shreveport, Louisiana, Whit Davis, told CNN, "The incident happened while she was at a nightclub on Bourbon Street. Everyone started yelling and screaming." This is according to Whit Davis, "running to the back, and then we basically went into lockdown for a little bit. Then it calmed down, but they wouldn't let us leave." That's again from an eyewitness. This is Whit Davis from Shreveport, Louisiana, who said that she was there as this happened earlier this evening. You can see some of these frightening images on your screen of just a tremendous amount of law enforcement present. Again, on Canal and Bourbon Street, again from Whit Davis telling CNN, "When they finally let us out of the club, police waved us where to walk and were telling us to get out of the area fast. I saw a few dead bodies they couldn't even cover up and tons of people receiving first aid." Again, that stands with the information that we were learning, again, just in the past really 30 minutes or so. We learned that at least 10 people were killed and dozens more were wounded.
We just had a second explosion here in the French Quarter. They screamed fire in the hole a second time, and they detonated what sounded like another type of explosive device. You see some people from Special Operations and the bomb squad working right down the street. I think photojournalist Stefan Cage has zoomed in on them right now. So again, just to kind of set the scene here, the FBI alluded to the fact that there was an IED type device that they were investigating because they feel like the suspect may have had that when he came into the French Quarter to do the harm that he did. A state police trooper called in a suspicious device. We were cleared off of Bourbon Street. We're on Dauphine right now in Orleans. About 5 minutes ago, we heard the bomb squad scream, "Fire in the hole," and we heard it sounded like a firecracker going off. And just about 30 seconds ago, or about 30 seconds before you came to me, we heard it again. Another fire in the hole and another detonation, which sounded like a firecracker going off. These aren't huge detonations. Some of the residents that live here are actually out watching right now, following what's going on. There were people on the balconies earlier, but again, because of this investigation leading to potential IEDs in the French Quarter, we have seen police doing massive sweeps here with the gloves, searching trash cans, searching under cars, everywhere here in the French Quarter. Teams of police officers, we showed you that live on TV, coming through looking for suspicious packages or anything out of the ordinary. They seem to have found one right on the corner of Bourbon in Orleans, right by the Tropical Isle Bar, which is a huge landmark for people wanting to party during Mardi Gras, New Year's Eve, other events in the French Quarter. But again, we have heard 2 small detonations from the Special Operations RV that came onto the scene down the street that you're looking at right now.
You hear the screech of tires, and when I turn my head around, there's like a Yukon or Escalade or something just barreling down the street, bro. I kid you not, like real life horror movie, everything the car is hitting, it's getting thrown. It's getting thrown up into the air and away and just, or under the car.
Coming through the intersection, and it all just happened so quickly, but the guy in the pickup truck just punched the gas and mowed over the barricade and hit a pedicab passengers. And there were just bodies and the screams. I mean, you can't think about, unhear that. It was chaos and very, very scary.
When you saw the car, did you think anything of it at first, or did you?
No, it was the most bizarre thing, like something that you, like the least expected thing, I don't even know how he managed to maneuver that with the amount of traffic and people that were still out.
As you can imagine, we do have some new video into CNN that is very tough to look at. We have blurred some of the images here, but you can see some of the carnage that was left behind.
About 3:05, 3:10 this morning, me and my friend were heading from Lower Bourbon towards Canal. We seen up towards Crystal Burger and all that there was just a lot going on. And so we ducked off into a nightclub real quick. And within 2 minutes of walking in, 4 or 5 girls come running in, push past security and hide under tables. Me and my friend living here, kind of knowing what's what and things that have been on the news, we didn't take any chances. We ran upstairs to the balcony area that we knew was there. And when we got up there, it wasn't anyone chasing anybody. It was just unimaginable casualty. I mean, just the disfigurement and the bodies strewn, something you can't unsee, you'll never forget. Directly at our feet was definitely a mother, twisted up, obviously deceased. We counted around 8 bodies very quickly, right in our area. One gentleman crushed, had tire tracks across his back. Once they rolled him over, he had tire tracks on his front. He was completely crushed. Another girl, small girl, was dancing when we were coming up the street, and she was just completely flat in the middle, dead center mid. Another woman just brutally run over, but still agonizing. I'm certified in CPR and first responder training, and they wouldn't let us help. They locked us all inside, which is understandable, but nobody else was helping. So that was even tougher. But just the fact that these people are somebody's people, and they're not going to be there this morning, it's rough. Yeah, like I said, I was the designated driver, so I seen everything I seen, I remembered. And we were just up and down. My friend had never experienced New Year's on Bourbon Street, even though he's lived here. And I thought that was kind of crazy. So I was like, well, let's go do that. And this is the memory. But I mean, we're alive. I mean, she was an older Hispanic woman, probably in her mid-30s. She had a wedding ring on her finger. We were that close to her. And no, there was no small, no, I mean, no small children. No small children. I mean, none in our area. Oh, he had been gone. That's what I was telling the other news sources. Like, we have these hydraulic steel barriers from past events. Last Mardi Gras, this happened to an extent, maybe not terrorism, but still people getting hit in mass population with vehicles. Those barricades were not up, period. They had the flimsy orange ones that you could just push over with your finger. We actually thought it was kind of odd because usually when you get to Bourbon Street, you can turn your back to Canal and not worry about anything. You can just walk the street, especially on New Year's, and there were still vehicles coming after 8 p.m. And then, I mean, the fact that they never raised them. That's how this guy was able to get down Bourbon Street so quickly and cause so much damage. Because there's other barricades past the Canal and Bourbon intersection. There's more like every 2-3 blocks. So what was 10 or 15 dead and 30 wounded could have only been maybe 5 and 15. I mean, who can say, but it definitely would have been minimalized because this truck could not go around those barricades. Everything in New Orleans in the French Quarter has a balcony. All the balconies have poles, several steel poles, and there's no going around anything. If that barricade's up, that's a wrap. That's your end. Yes, the metal ones were completely down. No, the metal ones were absolutely not engaged. The crowd protecting barricades were down. I mean, yeah, because yeah, we were walking right across it. Like as you walk down Bourbon, you cross like 5 of them. And then even when you turn off the side streets of Bourbon, there's more. Like the precautions are there and everything's implicated. You just have to use it. And the focus of, I'm sorry, but and the other focus is when we got there, you usually can park on Canal if you're early enough. Every law enforcement officer was on Canal. Like they had every parking spot on Canal. We ended up parking on the side of Royal, which no big deal. But as we walked into the French Quarter, there was another officer that I recognized. So I was talking with her and I asked her, I said, why is everybody on Canal and nobody's in the quarter? And she's like, show. And at that time it's probably 9 p.m. So I'm not thinking anything of it. But I'm like, yeah, if you're driving down here and you don't live here, you really think we have a ton of police officers. And she's like, oh, this is probably half of what we had last year. Yeah, and like the people that were locked in the club with us, like the girls that ran, they said that when they got out of his way, he was already at like 60 miles an hour, and that's only 100 yards from Canal. So in 100 yards, he was able to get that kind of speed. I mean, these bodies, I don't want to go into too much detail, but when I tell you mangled, I mean, movie. Only a movie script could give you the images in my head.
Any more information you can offer?
Back up. You've all got my statement. I'll have more to say in the next hour or so following what's going on in New Orleans. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand if the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well as the state. They're all coordinating to get to the bare facts. We know what the facts are.
Can you say if you're a foreigner or if he was a domestic?
I'm not going to say anything until I get all the facts in front of me.
Has the suspect been identified?
Again, I'm not going to comment until I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.